The future of AEW Fight Forever is very uncertain. Will we get a sequel? Will we get a new developer? Or will we just never get another game? We're going to talk about the different options moving forward, what led to the possible split that they have right now, and what could be AEW's new partner, and how the landscape of gaming has changed since the first one actually came out, and what they should do moving forward. When AEW entered the wrestling game world, they had big expectations, and people thought that Fight Forever was going to be the greatest thing ever. Back in November 2020, fans were excited to get our hands on a wrestling game that wasn't from the WWE. We have to remember what was going on in November 2020. We had the pandemic. We know that there was a lot of hate towards the WWE games because we got the WWE 2K20. They took a year off, and wow, we had Fight Forever. That was going to be something a little bit different. We're going to throw back to No Mercy, and there it was. The idea was to capture the energy of AEW, the fresh, new wrestling promotion for the fans, by the fans, whatever they want to say, the tagline. Chance to play their favorite wrestlers in a major platform, right? We needed a major console wrestling game, and that sounds great, right? But here's the thing. Game development is very difficult, and AEW quickly found that out. As development continued, issues started piling up. The original vision that they had for this game wasn't what was released. There was initial excitement around the game, and it began to fade as news about the game slowed to a trickle. Fans were concerned about the lack of updates, especially when key features like Creation Suite and online play seemed to be falling short of expectations. When Fight Forever finally launched in June of 2023, it was clear the game hadn't fully lived up to the hype. Budget issues plagued the project, and YUKES, the developers of course, found itself significant challenges. Sources close to development revealed that the game had gone over budget by almost twice its original project. As a result, several key features that were supposed to be in the game at launch were delayed or scrapped entirely. One major example, cross-platform play, which was promised early on, but had to be cut due to technical problems during testing. This wasn't just a minor hiccup, it was a sign that things behind the scenes weren't going smoothly. The financial pressures to release Fight Forever as quickly as possible led to the corners being cut, and that's part of the reason that many fans were disappointed. At a certain point, they had to get that return on investment, that ROI that everybody talks about in the industry, and they needed to make money back on this game because they spent so much time building this platform from the ground up, and they said, we need to recoup some of these funds. So, how did fans react when the game came out? Well, when Fight Forever launched, reviews were, let's say, mixed. While some praised the game for the old school wrestling gameplay, honestly, I think it played great. I think the in-match gameplay was very fun. Clearly, this was inspired by No Mercy, as they've talked about forever and ever and ever, and others really weren't so nice. Complaints about bugs, outdated roster, limited modes, and a lot of the mini games got tons of hate. Some features, like the career mode or more match types, were noticeably absent. We did have a career mode, but it was very, very minimal, and a lot of people didn't enjoy that. Even though post-launch updates were adding some content, like the Stadium Stampede mode, the game still felt like it needed more time in development. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely a good foundation here. The gameplay itself, like I said, is a lot of fun, and AEW fans got to play as their favorite wrestlers, which was something that we had never gotten ever. It was a brand new company, new wrestlers, a new style of gameplay, and I thought it was just very fast-paced and fun to play, and I will never knock that. But overall, it didn't meet the high expectations set by the community. And I think that was sort of AEW's issue, just trying to promote and hype this game up, saying that this is the next No Mercy. And then when it came out, it didn't give us that. And that leaves AEW in a tough spot about what they are going to do next. Over the course of development, the relationship between AEW and YUKES has reportedly become strained. While things started off strong, The budget overruns and the need to rush the game out the door caused some friction. According to insider sources, AEW is now considering moving away from YUKES entirely if they do make another wrestling video game. This brings us up to the news right now. AEW is strongly considering finding a new development for their future games. Now, that doesn't mean that YUKES isn't kindly out of the picture, but they're still working on updates for Fight Forever. But once those are complete, AEW will have to make the decision. And let's face it, this decision could reshape the future of AEW's video game ventures. Whether they make another one, whether they don't, it's all up to them. One of the good things about this is that AEW actually owns their own game engine for Fight Forever. So that will give them some flexibility in choosing a new developer if they choose to use this engine again, which is kind of cool. You could actually license this engine out to other games if they wanted to do that to make some money off of it. And that could make a well-known developer that has experience in the sports and combat and fighting game stuff like that. Or they could take a risk and they could go with a little smaller studio and have fresher ideas and kind of have a lower budget here. But I think the problem here with this overall thing is that fans think that the AEW game needs to be a big budget title just like the WWE 2K games. And that's really what it comes down to here, is that when they were developing this game, they had some grand scheme of what they wanted, and I don't think they finally got their vision out. There's a lot of moving pieces from just wrestlers moving around in the company. The structure of the company, as we know, there's the EVPs, and then that got restructured. Cody left the company at one point. That was probably after a lot of the stuff went on. But I think like the original idea of what AEW Fight Forever and then what it actually morphed into just didn't work. I know some developers left that were working for WWE games, and they worked on the AEW game, then they went back to the WWE games. So honestly, I don't think their vision of what they had for the video game actually came out to be what they wanted. So now that they have this, which is one good thing, is owning your work, and they own the engine for the game with AEW Game Studio. They said, we're going to retain this engine, so if they do want to make another game, they could actually do it with this engine, and they could do something pretty cool. Because honestly, I think the core gameplay for this game is fun. I think it's very, very fun to have matches in this game. There's a lot that needs to be reworked on it. There's a lot that needs to be changed. The story mode just didn't cut it. They need to, Road to Elite just didn't cut it, so they need to do more of that. Mini games weren't great. It was a good thing in theory. I mean, I think a lot of the wrestlers themselves enjoyed, like the Mario Party style games. But as far as it translates to the fans, you had kind of a divide here, right? So you had the mini games, you had the main wrestling game, and then you had the Stadium Stampede mode, which to me felt like 3 separate game modes just all wrapped into one. If they wanted, they could literally make Stadium Stampede free, so people could have played that online, and that would have been awesome. It could have been a nice alternative to Rumbleverse, which kind of left and never came back ever, and it's just gone. So they literally could have had a download this, play Stadium Stampede for free. I know that Call of Duty does that, where you can download Call of Duty, but you get the Battle Royale for free. So if you just play the Battle Royale, you can do that, but you can actually have the main game. You know what I mean? So it's like you get one game mode that's for free, which would be the Stadium Stampede, which I think was very cool. And then you have that put into there. I think that they had something in AEW Fight Forever. I do think that they would have a crazy roster of characters if they made a game today. It was cool that we got CM Punk back in a video game when he was in AEW, and he hadn't been in a video game in a long time. I mean, he's in the WWE game now. They rushed to put him out, but they could just look at the market and where things are going and how things played out for the AEW Fight Forever game. If they wanted to make a sequel for AEW and make AEW Fight Forever 2, or if they wanted to make another one, or maybe they'll just cut their losses. I don't know if that hemorrhaged a lot of money from them or whatever, but I think that if they re-looked at it, I think a video game would be viable for them. But there's always an issue there with the people, because they want that AAA wrestling video game alternative to the WWE 2K studio. If they could get a company like EA or something similar to that to actually work on the game, that would be huge for them. Whether EA wants to take a risk like that, that's up to them. We would see, but I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Should they make another AEW Fight Forever video game? Honestly, I think the more wrestling video games, the better. That's my take on it. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, keep making them. Keep trying to put them out. And then I'll keep playing them. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, I'm TonyPizzaGuy. Thanks for watching.